lights, and a naked woman. That's all you need for a film. So how would you define what you do?
It's having fun with people, trying to turn movies into a kind of drug that puts people in a weird state of mind, and creating fights on your movies is great.
If you want to scare people, scare them for real. That's what you do. And it's almost like a new version of cinema verite.
When you do a movie and people faint in the audience because it was too strong to handle, you feel so powerful because, oh, the trick really worked well. Actually, there is something positive about offending people that much.
Well, you're making an emotion.
At the end, people are kind of respectful, even if they hated the movie or the experience because it looks so real. Anybody ever said that your work was spiritual? Because some people are saying it about my last movie, and I get scared. Because even if spirituality is a primal need, you just need to open the gates of your consciousness.
I think art is about creation, so it is spirituality. Forget about religion. Whoever built this room painted these walls. Even if you're a mason, whatever you're doing, if you're making something, putting it in the world, that to me is spirituality.
Also, the best thing that can happen in a movie is when you put people into like a shamanic trance where they're dreaming, but you're conducting the dream. The movies I like the best, or the music I like the best, is the one that puts you into those mental waves that are close to your dreams.
What do you want to live in, your dream world or your awake world? And if you can live right in the middle, that's what we like to do.
I guess the first time I ever thought I wanted to do movies is when I was a kid and I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey. That was the most overwhelming cinematic experience I ever had. And from there on, I became a film addict, a film buff. I went to school like everybody, and then when I turned 17, the first thing I thought of doing after school was going to a film school. I think for each movie you have a different creative process. My first feature was closer to Buñuel's movies or to The Honeymoon Killers, and it was more realistic than, for example, the last one I did. The very last one I did is kind of psychedelic, so I was watching over and over all the masterpieces of experimental cinema, finding ideas there, also watching music videos, also reading books. And you put all these pieces together, you have all your notes, and then you start shooting the movie, and at the end the result is kind of close to your original references. Now the technology has made so many things possible, like this movie, Enter the Void, that I just shot in Japan, couldn't have been done 10 years before. It was actually produced and directed at the very right moment. There are visual effects in every frame of the movie, and it was impossible before. I don't know how they managed to do King Kong in the series, or how they managed to do Metropolis in the 20s, or how they managed to do 2001 in the 60s, but I'm not that talented. I'm doing my best, but hopefully the people who are working with me and now the technology of today and made that visually it is what it is. Some people are obsessed by the story in a movie. I don't know if I'm very attracted to the story. Taxi Driver is one of the masterpieces of cinema, but I know that I can watch Scorpio Rising forever and ever, and it has no story. When it comes to lighting, I like using normal bulbs, normal neon lights, and the light of the sun, of course, and I like framing. I do the camera in my own movies, but and I have a DP, but most of the time I just ask him to use natural lighting, and I get scared when there are too many projectors. Because also on a set, then you cannot turn around, and I like being through the camera to shoot all around and change the coverage at any moment. I edit my movies myself. It's the only moment where you're finally concentrated on what you got, and it's also like playing with a video game, and I don't like letting other people use the mouse instead of me. My use of music, I don't know how it's gonna be in the future, but most of the time I put the music that fits with the characters of the story, and it's not like an emotional commentary on the subject. It's mostly like things that are on the set, inside the story. Like a whole scene can change once you change the soundtrack. I guess life is the most inspiring thing. Stories people tell you, like personal stories, things you can read in the newspaper, also like personal experiences, fears, pains, the desires, and also the other thing that inspires you. If the people you're working with are fun, it's very funny to make a movie. If they're tedious or boring, then the shooting becomes boring. But so you